you can define the boundaries of what is your space, or do you guys overlap a lot?
There's some overlap, but not a lot. The boundary is basically from the door on back is Mobile Makerspace, and from the door that way is Delta Bike Project.
And do you share members from
We don't
one
share
to the-
members usually. I mean, we have, but they'll come and use our stuff, and we'll sometimes come and use their stuff, and we help each other out.
All right, and so
One of the things we wanted to do was, because we have such a small area, we made sure that all of our tools are on wheels so they can be moved anywhere we needed to. Not all of them do. We just got the lathe, so it hasn't got wheels yet. One of our first things we did was we built this woodworking bench, and it's got things that these things will flip around and hide all the things underneath them. At one time we did have a table saw that would make this a flat surface. That was before we got the big table saw. Now we just use it for mounting all these tools on.
and so those top pieces flip over.
Yeah, this one right here that flips out like this, and then a thing will come up here for this thing, and it would fold down inside of it. There's a shop vac inside of there as well to do dust collection.
And
The big CNC, which we built this table for it so that it would be portable. It's kind of hard to flip it right now, but it will flip down. And we can put it up against the wall, and it will save space. This right here also has wheels on it. On one end, you just lift it up, and we can move it wherever we want.
And I think I recognize that from somewhere.
The Izzy Swan Table,
Yeah.
you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of our first woodworking projects. We built that one by hand before we had all of this woodworking stuff. And we used it to determine what we needed.
Is that a smaller CNC back there?
That's a Shapeoko 2, the small one. That's a Shapeoko 2 as well, the bigger one.
Drill press. Got a nice storage bin for your scrap so it doesn't overflow,
Yes.
which we could learn from. Now you said this was set up for metalworking?
Yes, this is a metalworking saw on the bandsaw. And of course the grinder. We have another grinder down here for polishing.
And then, do you have any other metalworking setups in the space, or?
Out in one of the Connex boxes that we do have a welding machine. But it has to work out there.
Alrighty, and I guess
This belongs to Delta Bike Project.
okay, Delta Bike.
But I can give you a tour of it. There's actually a bank vault in here. And we may end up taking this over. There's our air compressor. Bank vault. And they're just using it right now for storage. All hardened concrete and all the original fixtures.
And you don't have the key?
I do have the key actually, but
It's one of those like, if you lost the key and you were
this one
inside.
had an electronic system
Okay.
for the big door. Yeah, all this stuff doesn't work anymore.
Disassemble and claim
But
parts.
I want to be able to turn this into like a little break room and that into a classroom. That'd be cool.
And if the class gets too rowdy, you just close them in
Close
there.
them in there, yeah. Yeah, I think we could put like almost a theater in there. Have the big screen in there with surround sound because it's very dense walls.
One of the things I've seen a lot of spaces do is hook up like projectors and hit the big wall like there.
And we've done that. We've had some people come in and needed to use the space one time, and we have 2 projectors, and we'll just set them up on a table and put them up on the wall. Okay. And in here, you can see our little switch arrangement here. We've had some problems with some of our members who forget to turn off the air conditioner. And so Josh, the one that was here, he came up with this little device. If you have it in heat or in cool, it'll hit that little switch, and if you turn off the lights without turning the heat off, you get the red light. It's just a little reminder. Of course, gotta have the first aid kit and the safety gear. When we got here, this was actually 2 rooms. There was a wall here. It had like 3 layers of vinyl on the floor and this nasty paneling and wood studs, and so we tore all of this. We gutted it all. The power was so bad that if you were even move the wires, it'd start sparking everywhere. So we had to rip out everything, put in new conduit, new panel. We had to repoint all the brick and then put a sealer on there. That's why you see from halfway down it's all painted white. This is our area for electronics rework. All your soldering and the nice fluke, desoldering gun, some components, laptops, Arduinos if you want to do it, microcontrollers, Raspberry Pis, and all of our spare parts and spare filament for 3D printers. Then this station was our first 3D printing area with original MakerBot replicator. This TV was donated to us. It had a broken HDMI connector on there. We fixed it, but still got a little bit of lines in it, but it still works all right. Our nice board there of all of the people that have made a difference coming on into creating the Makerspace. You see that?
Lighting's a little weak, but that's alright.
Okay.
See if it'll pick it up and highlight it a little.
Okay. And our Delta. Currently doing a calibration print. And our laser cutter. This was from a guy that had bought one back in 2002. Never could make it work right, so it sat in his garage. And his son-in-law was a friend of mine. Said, "Hey, my father-in-law has this laser cutter. Do you want it?" I go, "Yeah." So he brought it in, and I've never worked on one, but I'm pretty good at fixing things. And after a couple of weekends taking it apart, figuring out how it works, it's been working now for 3 years.
What kind of size platform does it work on?
This is A4 size, which is a European version of letter size.
Yep.
It's not very big, but it is industrial. And then the PC that we put together for it, because it's so old, it only has a serial and parallel port, and the controller on it uses some modified version of HPGL, so it only works with 32-bit Windows, and we managed to make it work on a Windows 7 32-bit, but eventually we'll have to get a bigger one with a better controller board. The library bought some MakerBot digitizers. Never could make the things work. They don't sell them anymore, and it's probably because they didn't work very well. But they gave us one, so we've had it working. It requires the older version of a driver, but it does work. It's not real good. And then our hand tools, our power tools and regular hand tools, we just keep them in here so that they can be charged. That's pretty much it. You can see space is a premium. It's a very small place, but
I mean, I'm kind of curious to see, like, what techniques and abilities you've figured out on how to do what you do in a space this size, because that could be extremely useful. Because I feel like a lot of the spaces that I've been to, you get these big spaces and they all feel like they're cramped, but you've got an actual small space, and if you've got 20 members who oftentimes use this space from time to time, you must be doing something that they all need to learn how to use their space better.
yes. Organization is one thing, but a lot of the times we use a space, but when we do events, we don't do them here.
Okay.
Because you're not going to fit very many guests in this building. So we have, the open house, but we open up the whole building, and Delta Bike's not here for that.